All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Me here, talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. Okay, so this video will piggyback off of my friend Darren, who does this channel called Sleeve Saturday. Recently, he did a video about how Howard Stern still holds a grudge against Steve Perry because Steve Perry called Howard Stern Big Bird. Okay, Big Bird, the most cutting insult in the history of insults. Steve Perry maybe just really got under Howard Stern's skin because remember, Howard Stern used to be the king of all media. Howard Stern made his living more or less having gorgeous women go on his show and then remove their clothing, right? And then Howard Stern would then describe what was happening. And then he would tell the men and whoever who were listening to, have an experience of their own while they're driving down the highway as Howard describes what's happening. You know, this was new radio. This was pushing the boundaries. This was cutting edge. And this is what made Howard Stern the king of all media. Now, Howard Stern has done some pretty interesting interviews. The Paul McCartney interview that he did fairly recently, I thought was good. And I watch a few clips here and there. And Howard Stern does ask some interesting questions. All right. So I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater here, but I do believe Howard Stern might want to get over his problem with Steve Perry. And here's why. Right. So Howard Stern says, Journey's out there. Arnell, he's really killing it. They're just doing a great job, blah, blah, blah. New Year's Eve, while Steve Perry is at home doing nothing. Steve Perry at home. All right. Doing nothing. Correct. Probably having a nice bottle of wine, maybe celebrating the new year, which is about to, happen, and getting paid. This is where Steve Perry has the super last laugh. While these guys were seen by 50 million people, and they froze their butts off. Keep in mind, Arnell and Neil Schon were dressed like Michelin salespeople. All right. They were very cold. I do think it was a live vocal because I could hear the cold quivering in the vocals. I could hear that a bit. Right. And Neil Schon trying to shred with the Michelin Man attire. Neil could probably shred with or without, no matter how he's dressed. I think he could pull off a 3-song medley, which he probably knows, in his sleep. So not a big problem for Neil, but these guys were obviously uncomfortable. Then, of course, we had Dean Castronovo, who wasn't there, but his drum tech was there to play. And Dean, they could have put him behind all of the plexiglass, right? Like oftentimes they do that with drummers, especially if you're going to a church worship service and they put the drummer in basically a box. So the drums are, not as loud as they should be in the church, but they could have done that for Dean because, he was super contagious, even though he had no symptoms. So in any event, Dean's drum tech got the call and did a great job. The point being is Steve Perry is at home collecting an income. If you remember back in 1998, when Steve parted ways with his old buddies and he said, please don't break the stone, right? That was his phrase. Please don't break the stone. They broke the stone. So Steve Perry called his lawyer and made one of the greatest deals in rock history. Yeah, you guys, you sure you can use the name. Go ahead. Go out there with Steve Augeri. Go out there any way you want. You can call it Journey, but I'm going to get a huge cut of everything that you earn, including concert revenue, music. Like if you make an album like Arrival, I'll get a portion of that. Anything you guys do, you sell a bunch of T-shirts, Steve Perry's going to get a portion of the revenue. So to me, Steve Perry being warm at home, drinking a nice bottle of wine, kicking back maybe with his new girlfriend I've been hearing about, not sure. The point is that Steve Perry is laughing all the way to the bank. and he doesn't have to be frozen in New York City to prove what a great person he is or what a great singer he is. He's already proved all that stuff. All right. Journey continuing on right now. Yes, I'm not trying to hate on Journey. Journey still has gas in the tank if they want to go out there and perform. I was a little more optimistic with the new rhythm section. And even though I love Dean and the band, that whole thing was sold as, hey, a new beginning for Journey. We're going to get back to our funkier roots. By the way, there's still no Randy Jackson. And if I were a betting man, I would guess that Randy has decided that he doesn't want to do this. He doesn't need to do it. Neither does Steve Perry. By the way, Randy Jackson and Steve Perry are really good friends. And it's kind of weird that he was invited back into the group. Maybe he just remembered why he's not in the group anymore. And he was having a decent life without Journey. So that might have played a role in his decision-making process. But getting back to Howard Stern, hey, Howard, Steve is fine, dude. Steve's at home. He's warm, he's happy, and he's making money. He's making money off of this band. Now, his revenue stream supposedly gradually tapers off, but it never completely goes away. Steve Perry made the greatest deal in music history by saying, you know what, you guys decided to break the stone. So now I'm going to go to the bank and I'm going to live happily ever after. He's 74 years old. He can make music on his own terms at his own pace. By the way, I think he's going to be 75 really soon, right? And what does he care, right? What does he care what Journey is up to right now, other than these old controversies with Howard Stern and CNN drunk basically saying things and saying, hey, Journey isn't really Journey without Steve Perry. That really did some damage because that went everywhere. People were reporting on that all over the classic rock media and just the media in general. And even though I can't stand CNN, it was kind of comical. It was kind of funny. And, you know, it helped Steve Perry, did not help Journey. And Howard Stern, you're losing on this one, buddy. Go back to doing the interviews. All right. Go back to doing the interviews. The interviews are good. And stop telling people, by the way, that they need to do the thing and that the people who don't do the thing are the biggest problem on planet Earth, which is not true. All of these so-called rebellious people in the world, they're all like just acquiescing to the government. And basically Howard Stern is another one of these government propagandists that goes out there and says all the things the good little emperor or not so good little emperor want him to say. In any event, that's my video. Steve Perry obviously having the last laugh in this particular situation.